Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Bismillah, in the name of Allah, Ar-Rahman, the one that is all merciful, Ar-Rahim, the one that has eternal mercy. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Alhamdu, all praise, Lillah, to Allah, Rabbil Alameen, the master of all of the worlds. I think also I'll open the doors to make it cooler. The doors at the back, can you slide open, inshallah? Make it nice. Cooler. Also this week you can appreciate your classroom. Because normally this classroom has like 120 people in here. What's this? Okay, Khalil, can you... Are you unable to reach the fan? Just check inshallah. It's fine, yeah, someone coming, it's fine. Okay, alhamdulillah. Innama ma'al biniyah. Okay, bismillah. Okay, all together now? Alhamdulillah. Alhamdu. All praise lillahi belongs to Allah Rabbil Alameen, the master of Al-Alameen, of all of the worlds. Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim, the all merciful, Ar-Rahim, the one that is eternally merciful. Malik Yawmiddin, the Malik, the owner of the Yawm, of the day of Ad-Din, of judgment. So we mentioned before that those four verses are the introduction of Allah by Allah, or the introduction to Allah by Allah. He introduces himself with four qualities. He gives us his name, Allah, and he says four sifas: Rabbil Alameen, Ar-Rahman, Ar-Rahim, Maliki Yawmiddin, and we explained to you how some of those are Jalali and how some of those are Jamali. And then after there's a shift. And the shift is what? When we now address Allah directly. What do you call that shift in Arabic? What do you call that shift in Arabic? When you shift the discourse, the conversation from third person to second person, what do you call that? Iltifat. It's called what? Iltifat. Altogether it's called what? Iltifat means when you shift the conversation. In other words, we were referring to Allah in the third person as He Allah. He is the all merciful, He is the all compassionate, He is the owner of the day of judgment, He is the master of the world. Now we say Iyaka, we say you, and we add you alone, because we put the maf'ulun bihi first. You and you alone, Allah, na'budu, do we worship, do we enter ourselves in as slaves, we are owned by you. What's the first step? Is we are establishing the relationship between us and Allah. And what's the relationship? That He Allah, or you Allah directly, you Allah are master, and we are what? Na'budu, we are abd, we are slaves. We are owned by you, our life is for you, and we pray to you and to you alone. Iyaka na'budu. And Iyaka, you and you alone. Nasta'een. What does Nasta'een mean again? Means what? To seek Allah's help. And you alone, Allah, Nasta'een, do we seek help from. And I mentioned there was two things in the Fatihah here that those things symbolize. The first thing is what? Na'budu is the relationship between us and Allah, that He is master, owner, and we are slaves, and slaves are the ones that are owned. The second thing is what? Is that Allah intervenes into the world constantly. He's not a God that creates the world and leaves the world. He intervenes in the world and in our lives intimately and constantly. Therefore we ask Allah, you and you alone, do we truly ask for help? Then I mentioned something last week about, can you go to the doctor and ask him for help? But you just said, Iyaka nasta'in. And you alone, Allah, do you ask for help?
Agents.
Eh?
You first ask Allah and then you rely on the doctor from the ni'mah that Allah has given the doctor.
Okay. But we just said, Iyaka nasta'in. You and you alone, do we say, not you and the doctor and the teacher and the lawyer and the helpline. IT desk. Who else is there? What's happening there?
So if we want knowledge, this knowledge we receive here, why don't we just ask Allah?
Good. سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا. Okay, good. So yesterday we discussed, last week we discussed that there are means. There are means. So if I can put it in this fashion here, there's a cause and there's an effect. Right? There's a cause and there's an effect. For example, a simple thing of example, if there is fire, what's the effect? There is going to be heat. You with me? If there is learning, there's going to be knowledge. Now,
ask the question of, you ask about go back to the doctor, the real question is the fact that God, prophet, Allah won't respond to us directly, so it has to go by someone. Yeah, it's through someone. Allah is granted him that knowledge and so forth, to be able to give to him.
okay.
So, is that more this?
Okay, let me finish this and we come back to the question, inshallah. Let me finish and come back to the question. Then there's maybe like medicine, and there's healing. Okay. So in other words, we live in a world of cause and effect. You all came to Mizan, came to study. Why? Because you want to get knowledge. You didn't say at home and say, Allahumma allimna. You did say that maybe make to Abraham. I'm saying you also have to take the means. None of you, inshallah, says at home in your bed and say, Allah, give me a rizq, give me a rizq. Hopefully you get out of your bed and you go to work and you go do a job for the day, and then inshallah Allah will give you some rizq. In other words, so we 100% believe in the world of cause and effect, although there's a slight difference. As a believer, we actually, but part of the aqidah really, is actually that Allah is actually the true cause for the effects. So this actually all comes from Allah. All comes from Allah. And this actually also all comes from Allah. And Allah Himself just puts a connection between the two. And if Allah wants to remove the connection, can Allah remove the connection between fire and heat? Can He? You can say Kuni Barda, you can say be cool. Nabi Ibrahim. Then you have a fire, you have the cause and you don't have the effect. You with me? So in our aqidah always is what? In our belief always is, yes, I'm going to go to the doctor, yes, I'm going to go to the teacher, yes, I'm going to ask you to make dua. In the end, behind all of that, nothing will happen except if Allah wants. You with me? So I don't want you to get in a conflict between the two. But it's very simple. Allah is responsible. He is the one that gives people the ability to teach. He's the one that gives people the ability to learn about medicine and to heal people. He's the one that gives people the ability to make fires. You with me? He's the cause of this. And He's the cause of the result also. And He's the cause of the connection between the two. And if He wills, He can break the connection. Can He teach people without learning? Yes. There's certain knowledge you get sometimes comes suddenly. Can Allah cause healing without medicine? Yes. Can Allah cause medicine without healing? Yes. Many times you go to the best doctors, but they can't get the healing. You with me? So in our belief, we don't negate, we don't say, you mustn't use the world's normal causes. We believe in the causes, but we don't believe that the cause on its own produces the effect. You with me? We don't produce the doctor alone is going to heal me. The teacher alone is going to teach me. We don't believe that. We believe that it all comes via Allah. And therefore, إِيَّاكَ نَسْتَعِينُ. إِيَّاكَ نَسْتَعِينُ. Okay, there's some more controversial stuff I can get into, but I'm not sure I feel in the mood now for that controversial stuff. I'm going to get into that for 5 minutes. I'm not going to get into it like in deep. I'm saying like a simple thing about like, can you ask a dead person who has passed away to make dua for you? Okay, so before you say no, yes, hold it. Hold it. Okay. Because sometimes we have this discussion about like what shirk is and all these things. I mean, these require workshops and they require lots of discussion. But I'm saying if you just apply this framework to it, you just apply this framework to it. If I have a brother who is alive and I ask that brother, can you make dua for me? Is that fine? Yes. And who is giving him the ability to make the dua? Allah. And who is going to answer the dua? Allah. So when I ask that brother to make dua, do I believe he is answering dua? Allah is answering dua. I believe 100% that Allah is answering the dua. So if there is a person lying in the grave and you ask that person, you are wali of Allah, can you please ask Allah to forgive me? Right. I want to highlight one thing. I don't want to get into the whole detail. One thing I want to highlight is that does the Muslim believe that that person is answering dua or Allah is answering the dua? Does a Muslim believe that that person is going to give them rizq, going to give them forgiveness, or that person is going to make dua to Allah? Like a normal Muslim, I'm saying, like a standard Muslim. Does any Muslim believe that anybody can do anything without Allah's will? No. Okay, come now. Let's just wrap it up quickly. So I'm not going to get into that discussion about that. All I want to say is that discussion is not a discussion about tawheed and shirk. You with me? That discussion is a discussion we call kayfiyatul dua, about what's acceptable and not acceptable in making dua. You understand? It only becomes a matter of aqeedah and shirk and tawheed if someone really believes that a person can act independently from Allah. And I can tell you that no Muslim, if you ask them, inshallah, no Muslim will ever say that. Like if you ask this Muslim, can this person help you if Allah doesn't want it? Khalas. You with me? So without going to the whole discussion, I just want to say that there are people quickly to say shirk for this and kufr for this. We have to be very careful about these statements. These are heavy statements. If you say it against someone and the person doesn't deserve it, it comes back to you and you get that brand. So the best thing to do is consult scholars you trust with regard to matters like this. Don't come with your own like logic, because sometimes the aql is khabakal. You know the aql is khabakal sometimes, because you're coming with your own logic. You don't understand the frameworks that we operate within. Okay, so I have two questions. I'm not going to get into this discussion. No? With the Fatihah now.
I mean, it's a simple logic. I mean, why do we always want to put something or someone between us and Allah? Why can't we ask Allah that? Why can't we build a relationship directly with Allah? Why do we need to go through another conduit? I mean, to me, logically, it makes no sense.
Yeah, that's fine.
Because you build your relationship with Allah. I mean, Allah is all protected, all knower, Allah Ta'ala. We are all subservient to our creation to Allah's rules. Why do we talk directly to Allah? Why do we build that relationship?
But I'm not going to go into. Okay, guys. I'm not going to go. I'm not trying to get into discussion about. This is a deep discussion. All I'm trying to say is I'm trying to give you iyyaka nasta'een. What that means. That means that Allah and you alone do I place my trust in. But it doesn't negate the fact that you can take normal means and go to the doctor and go to the work and ask the brother to make dua for you. You understand? It doesn't negate that. Okay. So I'm saying even if I take it to the most extreme case, in some of your minds, the most extreme case, it still doesn't negate iyyaka nasta'een. Okay.
That's the words of Allah. Allah says, ask me or call upon me and I will answer.
Okay. So again, what happened, this is the branch of Aqeedah. We spend years studying it. It's not something that, and I can't get into it now. You can ask Mullah Abdullah. This is deep khaliyata, and but just be easy with it. What I'm saying is that really, what you must do is that we have to understand basically the legacy and get into it. I didn't want to get into that. I just want to give you the framework for understanding how we understand iyyaka nasta'een. And if someone does something which you don't approve of, you don't think is necessary or actually suitable in Islam, make sure you understand whether that's an action problem or a belief problem. You understand? If someone is going around a grave 7 times, or they're making, I don't know what they're making, hula hoops or something, is the problem what they believe or the problem what they are doing? Because that's are two very big different things. You understand? The belief thing is like a big thing. It's like kufr and shirk and iman. The action thing, they may be ikhtilaf, maybe they might be making a mistake, they may be doing something haram. Can you do something haram and still have iman? Yes. MashaAllah, we've all been there. We've all done something wrong, haram, incorrect action, but with correct belief. So I'm just saying, in this discussion, sometimes when it comes to the normal people, general people who haven't studied, is that they don't make this nuance. And these nuances are very important. Because without these nuances of understanding, your deen gets torn apart. Okay, so without getting into all of that discussion, I'm just trying to separate the issues. There was really digression, but anyway. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين. You with me? إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين. But the discussion about the graves is inshallah. Anyway. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين. You alone Allah do we worship, and you alone do we seek help. Is that a dua or is it a statement? Did we ask Allah anything there? What do we ask for? Did we ask for help? Do we make dua? We don't make dua there. All we said is, you Allah do we worship, we are slaves for, and you Allah alone do we seek help. But we didn't say help us. You with me? So there's a difference between a statement and a question. Generally a statement you can say true and false to. A statement you can say true or false to. But like a question, you can't say true and false. You with me? You can't say true and false to a question or a command. Like if I say stand, you can't say true or false. But if I say the sky is blue, I can say true or false. You with me? So this is what you call khabar. It's information, it's news. What do we do next in the Fatihah? We're going to ask. Why? What do we establish? Two things. In the Fatihah we establish what? Who Allah is. First 4 verses. Next verse we establish what? Our relationship between ourselves and Allah. Of being slaves, of being the ones that we ask. What's the third thing we do? The third thing is actually now to ask Allah. You can't say, Allah, we ask for help, or you don't worship me, walk away. We have to ask for something. So Allah Himself told us what to ask for. So what does He tell us to ask for? He says, Ihdina. What are the root letters of Ihdina? MashaAllah. So they're going to be Ha, Dal, and Ya. Which words do you know from Ha, Dal? What's the verb? The verb is Hada. It's a weak letter verb, so you haven't done it before. But the verb is Hada. What are the words do you know from the word Hadaya? Hidayah. You know Hidayah? What does Hidayah mean? Guidance. Anything else you know? You know Hadi? Huda. Huda means also guidance. Hidayah and Huda are the masters. They both mean guidance. What else is there? Al-Hadi. You know Hadi? Hadi means a guide. Have you heard the word Muhtadeen? Muhtadeen means the one who is rightly guided. Okay, so the word guidance. What type of word is Ihdina? Is the ism fi'l or harf? It's a fi'l. Good, it's a verb. What type of fi'l is it? It's a fi'lul amr. So if I'm doing Taraba, what is the amr for that? The amr is idrib. But now I'm doing Taraba, I'm doing Hada. So let's put the same letters down. Let's become what? Ihdi. Okay, ihdi. But is there sukoon already on there? Hada. Is it Hada ya or Hada? Hada. So what happens is, okay, one can do the weak letters, but for some reason that falls away. Okay. Okay, it's an amr. Ihdi. Ihdi. But how can you make an amr towards Allah? That sounds right. Can you command Allah? Amr means command. Okay. Okay, so basically amrs are of different types, right? So if the amr comes from a high power person to a lower power person, like from Allah to his slaves or from a parent to the child, then the amr means for a command, right? If the amr is from the same level people, it's more understood to be advice. And if the amr is from a low being to a high being, we call it al-amr bid-du'a. It's a command in the form, it's a form of du'a. You with me? So you can call this a du'a amr. You with me?
But you'll only understand it in the text itself.
In the context. Is
there no indicator?
No indicator, no. So in the context here, this is we call it a du'a amr. Al-amr bid-du'a. So you ask, come on, you're asking Allah, ihdi. Ihdi. When you say daraba idrib is to how many people? Idrib is how many people must eat? One. Male or female? Male. If it's many people, what do I say? Idribu. If one female, what do I say? Idribi. And many females? Idribna. So ihdi is for how many people? For one. So in the word ihdi, there's an anta inside there. And anta refers to male or female? Male. You are male referring to Allah. So that we say the fa'il of this, the dua of this is you one male referring to Allah for dua. Ihdi. Oh, so ihdi means you guide. You guide. Who must you guide? Ihdi na. So what's the na doing in the sentence? What's the na? It's a damir, yes, but what's the function of it? It's a maf'ulun bihi. Who must you guide? You must guide us. That is the maf'ulun bihi. So ihdina is a full sentence. It has a verb in ihdi. It has a fa'il, the anta inside of it, and has a maf'ulun bihi, the na at the end. So ihdina means what? Oh, you Allah, guide us. Oh, you Allah, guide us. Maulana, 5 minutes. Ihdina. Ihdina. So out of all the du'as Allah said, because we ask Allah for everything. Iyaka nasta'in. We didn't ask Allah for wealth. We didn't ask Him for health. We didn't ask Him for knowledge even. We ask Him for what? Guidance. Guidance to what? Okay, let's go as-sirata. 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 Well, Abdullah, if you recite, say you can recite zirat and sirat and all that stuff, but we just say as-sirata. Because there are different qira'at, we say sirat with a sin and zirat, but anyway, as-sirata. What's a sirat? A path. Okay, I'm going to end with this, so we think with every word we have to think and pay some attention to it. Okay. Is it ma'rifah or nakira? It's ma'rifah. Right, that's al. What does ma'rifah imply? Is it something defined or undefined? So the first thing we will get from the word as-sirat is that the path is defined. The path is defined because definite. The path is defined. That's the first thing. Why is it important? Why is it important? Because one of the biggest dangers today we have is relativism. You know what this means?
Yeah.
And you're going to hear it all the time. Relativism is very simple. It's saying what? I have my truth and you have your truth. Right? Sounds good, no? That sounds good. No, I have my truth and you have your truth. Sounds very nice. But what's the problem? What if the truth contradict? What are you going to say then? You understand the problem? My truth is God is one. Your truth is God is 3. Your truth is God is 5 million. You understand, like, what's going to happen when it contradicts? You're going to say that the truth is no longer absolute. It's relative to the person. You with me? You say the truth is what? No, this is the absolute truth. This is a truth that is relative to you and to you and to you. And guess what the next step is? If the truth is 1 for you and 2 for you and 3 for you and 4 for you, guess what? There is no truth. Because how can the truth contradict itself? So guess what? There is nothing. There's no fixed point anymore. You with me? There's no fixed point in your moral compass. There's no fixed point in your belief compass. There's no fixed point in your ethical compass. There's nothing anymore. Why? Because all just depends on you. You have your truth, I have my truth. And if I actually take a step back, there's actually no truth. So what are you even worrying about truth? Does Allah agree with it? Allah says, guide us to what? As-sirata. There's actually only one way. And that's in the word as-sirat. In the word sirat. So especially the youngsters go at university. The older people, mashallah, they're well baked. You can't change them so lekker. But the young people are more vulnerable going to university. This year is one of the biggest things you're going to face. And one of the most difficult things you must tell yourself, not difficult, but you must be firm with yourself, is that I believe there's one truth. And He is Al-Haq, one of Allah's names. That He is the truth. And He reveals the truth. And it is one truth. In its core, in its fundamental, not the peripheral issues we disagree about, in its fundamental, there's only one truth. There's only one God. There's only one life. There's only one role we have. There's only a destination, is Yawmul Qiyamah. You understand? It's all fixed actually. And there's one moral code, and that code came through the prophets. It's as simple as that. But it sounds simple now until you confronted with relativism. When it confronts you, then you're like on the back foot. Why? Because am I being a fundamentalist now? In the sense that I believe in the fundamentals, yes I am. You with me? That I believe these are the fundamentals. And doesn't mean I don't respect you. You respect people 100%, even if they disagree with you, they have the opposite view, they don't even believe in God. We will respect you and we will be civil to you and we will be a good neighbor to you and we will be a colleague and we will work with you, no problem. But we don't believe that to be the truth. And we don't also say it's okay. We actually disagree with it. Are you with me? And we in this time, we need that firmness. We need the firmness that there's as-sirata. The one thing Allah says, the first thing you make dua for is what? Guide me to the one path. Why? Because to be off this path means to be lost. And we live in a world where being lost is like well marketed. It's called open-minded. Really, that term open-minded is a relative term. You can't say you're absolutely open-minded. If you're absolutely open-minded, it means you believe in nothing. You understand? If you're okay and you can accept everybody's view, it actually believes you believe in nothing. If you're open-minded, you can understand different perspectives, you can appreciate, that's fine. But I'm saying these terms are almost like weapons. They're mental warfare weapons. How can you just believe in one God and you believe you Muslims are the only way? You're closed-minded. God is many things to many people. You can say how, now you feel the back foot. I don't think you don't need to feel the back foot. Like when you're a student of Quran, you believe these are the words of Allah. You believe this is the one truth, khalas. You respect everybody, you love everybody, you engage with them, but you don't compromise on your core belief. Like others don't compromise on their core belief. But Muslims, for some reason, we're under the biggest spotlight. We feel the heat. At work you can feel the heat. At the university you can feel the heat because Muslims, just the whole world is put this huge spotlight on Muslims. So you feel too scared to say something. You must have a bit of strength in your deen. Being beautiful, but have that firmness in your deen. Because Allah says, Ihdina sirata. The one thing is guide us to the straight path. Last thing I think about the path, and the most beautiful thing about the path, is that when you take a path, are you at your destination already? No. So when you reach Surah Fatihah, Allah is telling you what? You're still on the way. You still have some work to do. You're still struggling a bit with a few things. Because if you weren't struggling with the end, Allah won't say, Ihdina siratal mustaqim, just like Madni Wali. You know what I mean? Allah is saying what? That the path, you have to walk it. One step at a time. And we're going to read a beautiful hadith about how the path is described by the Prophet in vivid description of the path next week, inshallah. But this is it's a journey. So also at the same time, don't be too hard on yourself. Don't beat yourself up too much. Like we all make lots of mistakes. I'm not saying you must be okay with the mistakes. That's a part of relativism also. Like what you did is your truth and that's okay. We're not okay with our sins, but also it doesn't get us depressed. It doesn't leave us hopeless. We always have hope in the rahmah of Allah, and we all walk in the path together, inshallah. So, ihdina sirata, may Allah guide us to as-sirata al-mustaqim. Barakallah. Alhamdulillah, for your last session now you'll have Maulana Abdullah. Remember we do that recitation and the collective hifz last week, so we're going to start this week, inshallah ta'ala. Next week we'll be back in Mount View, I'm Mount View now, but we'll be back in the classroom next week, inshallah. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.